It's really disheartening.
29-year-old Paddy Treacy has been house hunting for nearly 2 years. Even with a six-figure household income, getting into the market seemed tough pre-pandemic, but now his income has taken a hit, and with prices on a tear and extreme bidding wars the norm, home ownership seems even further out of reach for him and his fiancée.
We were looking, and the houses in Guelph a year ago were $400,000, $500,000. Now they're like $600,000 to $800,000 a year later. How does that happen?
He joins a growing cohort of young people who feel priced out of a market that's become even hotter during the pandemic. A report this month from the National Bank of Canada says the average down payment for a home in Toronto would take nearly a quarter century for a household making $180,000 a year to save, and more than 30 years for a place in Vancouver.
It's not like we have crazy expenses, and yet there's just so few ways to be able to save that mountain of money that's required for, a 20% down payment on over $1 million to buy a house that needs some work.
The bank of mom and dad is a factor too. According to a recent TD Bank survey, about half of millennial buyers say they rely on parents to chip in financially for home ownership. That's a stark increase from 2 decades ago, when parental help was used towards 14% of down payments.
Even though this economic downturn has ravaged the finances of some households, the majority have prospered. Couple that with historically low mortgage rates and a desire for more space, it's the recipe for an ultra-competitive, increasingly unaffordable housing market. It's manageable for those who've built up equity over the years or those whose parents have benefited from the run-up in prices.
The housing market is one of the variables really driving that growth in inequality. Whereas on one side, people who get in manage to buy their home, even if they struggle to save that down payment, they are accumulating wealth, and really fast growing wealth. And on the other hand, those who remain renting and who are not being able to save, not be able to build any security for the long term, are seeing their fates kind of go in very different directions.
The COVID economic downturn has solidified the fortunes of homeowners while taking a disproportionate toll on renters.
It seems unsustainable, and yet that's what we say every couple years. Like, this is a bubble, it's going to burst, and then it somehow doesn't.
If you're wondering whether buying or renting is the best path for you, personal finance experts point to the 5% rule. Take the total value of the home you're looking to purchase, multiply it by 5%, and divide it by 12 months. If you can rent for less than that, then renting may be your best bet. Financially, that may be the best option, but buying a home is about so much more than dollars and cents.
The pandemic has made things so uncertain for so many people, ourselves included. The one thing that we knew was that, we want to spend our lives together, we want to be together. There's just this question of where and how.
And Gaviola, Global News, Toronto.